Hello everyone, thanks for tuning in to today's bird video. We're going to have a look at the weather for the next 10 to 14 days for today's bird video. Day 10 will take us to the 29th of March. We'll be able to extend out beyond that with the extension GFS and ECM Ensembles. Maybe run around a couple of weeks. We'll have a look at the CFS V2 at the end of the video for the next 4 weeks, and that gets us into the middle of April. I should get to that for you in a moment. Just say that first video you say was our 6am UK weather forecast. And we've also released the EC30 day as well for UK, except European Outlook essentially. So please like, share, subscribe on all of today's videos and content. And thank you so much everybody for doing that. Fluffy merch has been released. Hold on. Let's try again everybody. Fluffy merch has been released. So here we go. Here's the fluffy merch. Full of loads and loads of chocolates as well. We've got cream eggs, mini eggs, Maltesers. Gracious me. We've got a fluffy pin as well. Go with that. So you have fluffy on your lapel. And we've got a fluffy coaster as well. So you have a motor coaster, haven't you? So all of that 4-piece with chocolates is retailing at £15. Just send £50 to £15 to GavsWeatherVids PayPal account. You can find that, the link to that in the description with the video. Just send 15 quid and we'll get your fluffy merch out to you in time for Easter. It is an Easter tie-in. So thank you so much, everybody, for getting involved. It's another revenue stream for the channel, helping to pay for the channel and allow me to sit here and do this for all of you. So thank you so much to each and every one of you, I say, for getting involved with the merch and all the other revenue streams. And yeah, you know, fluffy merch for £15. Who will want that in time for Easter? Thank you so much to our designer, merch designer James Chain as well. I suppose better say thank you to Fluffy, haven't we? Right, okay, let's crack on then with the video. Going to start with the Arctic oscillation observed and forecast. So the black line shows where we've been with the Arctic oscillation. The red lines at the end with GFS Ensembles are forecasting the Arctic oscillation to go. So at the moment we are currently negative with the AO, although the GFS Ensembles are forecasting in the next few days we're going to pop up into positive territory and then fall back into negative territory again as we move into the latter stages of March and into the beginning of April. Remember, it's always the weather that's driving the index, so the Arctic oscillation doesn't drive anything in its own terms. It tells us what the atmosphere is doing. When the AO is in a negative phase, we've got blocking over the Arctic and over pole. When the AO is in a positive phase, we've got low pressure over the Arctic and North Pole. Blocking is really getting cold air out of pole and down into the mid-latitudes. The fact that blocking signals seem to be strengthening into late March and the beginning of April could be a signal for things to be turning somewhat colder, perhaps. These are let's see how the NAO is looking, sorry. The black line again showing where we've been with the NAO. Red lines at the end with GFS Ensembles are forecasting NAO to go. They were around neutral with the North Atlantic oscillation, and again we've seen that in the next couple of weeks, the NAO is being predicted to stay around neutral, slightly positive, pretty much the period, possibly going slightly negative by the very end. That's a long way out, though, of course. So it looks like we're hovering close to neutral conditions with the NAO. A little bit of a conflict going on there between, like, the AO, which seems to be more set towards negativity, and the AO, which seems to be more set towards negativity. The NAO, but seems to be more set towards neutral condition. And we shall wait and see how that all works out, of course. Right, the central temperature is now sitting at 7.7, turning into an ever milder month. That is 2 degrees above 61 to 99 average. That's visual to yesterday, to the 18th of March. That will carry on ticking up, I think, over the next 2 or 3 days as well. But will probably reach its peak, I would have thought, in the low 8s, maybe towards the end of the week. And then by the weekend, should start to edge back downwards a little bit. And this is the reason why. These are the GFS upper air temperature and precipitation ensembles the next couple of weeks. We're at Bedford today. So the red line is the 30-year upper air temperature average for Bedford. We're starting off with above average upper air temperatures at the moment. They're going to carry on through the next few days as well. But as we get through to the weekend and the beginning of next week, those upper air temperatures start to fall backwards. And actually going colder than average. The most colder than average upper air temperature then take us through the final week of March by the look of it. So it will be a cooler or a colder final week to March. How far we go with that remains to be seen. There is a bit of scatter there. You'll notice the GFS 6N operational run, for example, is at the milder end of the range, albeit a lot cooler than it is right now. However, we have got lots of Ensemble members that are down here and significantly cooler or colder. When we get into the beginning of April, then we see a bit of a recovery in those upper air temperatures, returning back closer to average. That is a long way off, though, and it is in the unreliable time frame. Precipitation-wise, well, yes, we got more precipitation to come. We got some rain to come over the next couple of days. A little bit drier at the end of the week, then into the weekend and next week. It looks like it's turning more and more unsettled. So, particularly around the Easter period, actually, let's get rid of that blue line, particularly around the Easter period, which is this period just here, we see a lot of precipitation spikes then. So, regular bouts of rain coming through. If it was to be cold enough, there might be a little bit of wintry potential in with that. It is hard to get wintry conditions in late March, but it can happen sometimes. So this is how Snow Row is looking. Got a few little snow spikes there coming up through the weekend into the beginning of next week, and perhaps a few more as we head in towards the Easter period. Not that many of them, but there might be a little bit of wintry potential through the last week of March. Temperature anomalies from the 19th, 27th of March coming out round to ever so slightly below average. Precipitation anomalies from the 19th, 27th of March around to slightly drier than average. I would expect those precipitation anomalies to start trending wetter again, though, in the coming few days. The latest Windflow Map from earthnullschool.net showed that we've got quite a bit of low pressure to our southwest down here, and also to our north. There's more low pressures way out in the far western portion of the North Atlantic, so plenty of low pressure in the Atlantic, telling us that although it's not as wet as it has been, we still remain in a pretty unsettled sort of regime, really. Okay, let's start going through chart data then. This is our latest UK Met Euro run. It's looking midnight on Friday. Wet and windy, deep low pressure to the north of Scotland, bringing the weather system southeast across the country. That's cold around, bring a band of rain, followed by showering dishes to the north and the west. Into the weekend, low pressure sinks down over the country. That brings further showers along with spells of rain with it, but winds are turning from a northwesterly to a northerly, so becoming colder into the weekend. In fact, a little bit of an Arctic blast with that. If you follow the isobars back, the air is originating from a long way north up towards the Arctic. So as that low pressure sinks southwards, quite a bit of cold and wintry weather in with that. Into the beginning of next week, the next area of low pressure starts coming in from off the Atlantic. That brings further wet and windy weather in with it. It will back the wind into the west, so we should start to see some milder air coming in. So only a brief cold snap over the weekend, and then we get less cold into the beginning of next week, but still looking pretty wet and windy there. Icon, again, deep low pressure around Iceland and sending weather front southeastwards across the country with a bad rain on Friday. Behind that, we draw wind into the northwest and then into the north, becoming colder over the weekend and potentially quite wintry as well, with low pressure sitting in the North Sea. Into the start of next week, low pressure tries to get in from off the Atlantic, but sort of sinks southwards actually as this high pressure strengthens to the north. So the Icon model sends back low pressure, but the UK Met has like as a direct hit on us through the early part of next week. Wet, windy weather. Icon sends back low down towards Biscay, and so therefore it's a dry but also a colder scenario through the beginning of next week, with Icon winds in from the north and from the northeast. Upper air temperatures looking cold enough for showers to be wintry in the north and the east, and a return of overnight frost as well. And of course, I've got some early spring blossoms out that have been fooled into thinking that spring has well and truly sprung after the mild winter. For example, I notice a lot of magnolias are flowering, so they're probably going to be in a bit of trouble with that Icon on for the early part of next week. So I imagine there will be some pretty damaging frost with that. This is how the KMA is looking from South Korea. Again, we're bringing that cold front southwards on Friday, introducing most northwesterly and then northerly winds into the weekend as low pressures plunges southwards down the North Sea. So a cold snap through the weekend. Low pressure then coming in off the Atlantic, bringing wet and windy weather. Also less cold conditions, of course, but wet and windy weather back in through the beginning of next week. Actually looking quite stormy there through the early part of next week with KMA. And eventually we look like that's going to be Easter weekend. We keep it unsettled, really. Just low pressure keeps on coming. That is Easter Sunday, I think, the early hours of Easter Day. Looking noteworthily, hold on again, everybody. Oh, sorry, once more. Looking noteworthingly, if that's a word, wet and windy there for Easter Day. Oh dear. Right, let's go through GFS data then. So this is how the midnight run is looking. Once again, we take that cold front southeast across the country on Friday. Introduce both northwesterly to northerly winds into the Easter weekend. They'll bring wintry showers in with them, particularly to the north and the east. Into the beginning of next week, low pressure, similar to what Icon's doing actually, gives us a glancing blow and then moves down to Biscay as high pressure strengthens around Iceland and winds pull into an east or a northeasterly direction. Those northeasterly winds dragging wintry shower potentially to eastern parts of the coast. There could be some snow in with those showers at times. Well, upper air temperatures looking cold and perhaps more noteworthily than night frost and wintry conditions. Snow is going to be night frost, I think, with this. Should be early to middle part of next week. We're heading towards the Easter period and low pressure gathers to our south and west, all looking very unsettled and potentially quite cold into the Easter weekend as well. That low will bring a very wet spell over the Easter Saturday through to Easter Sunday, and we've still got low pressure lurking to our south and southwest here as we get towards Easter Monday as well. So just staying cold and unsettled really through Easter. That gets us to the 4th of April as far as we go with the GFS today. Winds still in from the northeast, so still pretty chilly but turning drier. The GFS 6Z looks like that. Again, about little Arctic blast coming up over the weekend with winds originating from Arctic origin sources. Then low pressure gives us a glancing blow for the early part of next week, taking wet weather to our south and west. And then the lows just sort of 6 to the southwest, really throwing up probably bands of rain as we head in towards the Easter period. So that looks like it's setting up a very wet pattern into the Easter weekend as well. All looking rather cool. We are on the cool side of jet stream, by the way. Remember, the black line is the rough position of the jet stream. That's well to our south. So showers and or longer spells of rain with cool temperatures into the Easter weekend. All looking pretty dismal there, I have to say. And by the end of the GFS 6Z run, we finish up under still under low pressure actually, but with heights rising to the north. So a bit of northern blocking still signal there as we get to the end of GFS 6Z. If you enjoyed the video, please do you like, share and subscribe. I know it's probably not what most you want to hear for the Easter period. This very cool, maybe quite cold and wet pattern that's setting up. But anyway, if you are enjoying the video, then please do you like, share and subscribe. Thank you so much everyone for doing that. Drop a comment as well. Let us know what you think about this and all of our videos and content. Thank you so much. We need to put on around 50 subscribers now, just 50. That's out to 18.1k. So if you could give us a sub, to your friends and family, subscribe, that'd be incredible. We thank you so much for doing that. Right, GM, again, taking that front to southeast across country on Friday, introducing both northwesterly and then northerly winds into the weekend. Cold snap coming up for the weekend. Could be wind showers in the north, and overnight frost is likely by the beginning of next week as well, as this little transient ridge builds in and kills off that strong northern wind. Then low pressure sinks in into that cold air, so that will bring outbreaks of rain, possibly snow though, up in the north if the air is cold enough. And then we move up towards Easter with this deepening area of low pressure out in the Atlantic, so that starts bringing some very wet and windy, but also less cold conditions. Winds turning to the west and to the southwest, so temperature would lift up, but does look very unsettled, I have to say, with that low. Very, very cyclonic as we go into Easter. Then the central pressure of that low is about 970 millibars, so really deep area of low pressure there. And then the ECM is looking like that. Again, we take that cold front southeast across the country on Friday, introduced back northwesterly northerly wind into the weekend. So a cold weekend to come, with winds coming in from the north and northeasterly direction. Wintry showers likely in the north and the east in particular. Then more low pressure starts coming in from off Atlantic to the beginning of next week, bringing further wet weather in with it, showers and or longer spells of rain coming in with that. Deep low sitting right over top of the country from Tuesday into Wednesday. Very cyclonic, very wet, quite cool as well, even though the wind's coming in from off the Atlantic. The jet stream is a long way south actually with the ECM. The jet stream is going way down into Spain and Portugal. Although we are in like a west-southwesterly wind, it is still really quite chilly, I think, that. And we go up towards day 10, which gets us to Good Friday, the 29th of March. Still looking cyclonic, still looking quite cool as well. So implying that we are like to have quite an unsettled, maybe quite wet and cool Easter. This is how the precipitation forecast is looking based on that ECM run from TemPetShow.com. Plenty of wet weather going through central northern regions. The south staying dry through the next day or so. And then into the end of the week, well, down comes that cold front. Very weak feature, actually, not producing much in the way of rain on Friday. Perhaps peps up a bit in the southeast, but introduces that cooler air from the northwest. So shower turning wintry in the north and west, snow showers actually into northern and western regions by the time we get through to the start of next weekend. Even some wintry showers getting down into the south and the southeast. Well, not too much, just be like flakes and gruppel and whatnot in the flow, but it's noteworthy that it is turning colder into the weekend. And then to the start of next week, low pressure starts coming back in from off the Atlantic with the ECM. Outbreaks of rain, sleet and snow with that. Snow particularly over high ground, I would have thought, and in the north. But again, a little bit of wintry condition going on with that. Further wet weather piling in later on next week as well, heading up towards Easter. Heavy rain in the south, heavy snow towards the north and west. All of that's got to be worked out and resolved. Followed by wintry showers quite widely across the country as we move up towards the Easter period. Now that gets us to Good Friday. By then we've got some snow up in the north. BW up on the table within the ECM Ensembles Day 4, Day 10 gets us to the 29th of March from the Icelandic Met Office. 22 members of the ECM Ensembles with deep low pressure right over top of the country, so that's bringing very unsettled weather in for the 29th of March, which of course, as we've already explained, is Good Friday. We've got 14 members of the ECM Ensembles, including the control and the operation run, with low pressure to our south and southwest. That looks quite unsettled too. We've got 6 with low pressure to the southwest. High pressure is to the northeast. Wind coming in from a southeasterly direction, so plenty of rain with that, and probably a little bit milder as well, but it wouldn't take much to start putting wind into like an easterly there. We've got 5 with low pressure right over country and just to our west, and then we've got 4 with low pressure over northern France, high pressure towards Iceland, winds coming in from a north or a northeasterly direction. That's probably the coldest of the options with that wind direction. In 2 weeks' time, they all look very unsettled, I have to say, nearly all of those options. 2 weeks' time, this gets us to the 3rd of April, beyond Easter. 12 members of the ECM Ensembles look very unsettled, deep low pressure in northwest Europe and in the Atlantic. 11 with high pressure just to the southwest, and low pressure still meandering in from the Atlantic there. We've got another 11 with high pressure to the east, low pressure is to the west, winds coming up from a southeasterly direction, so quite a lot of dry weather with that and relatively mild. We've got 8 with high pressure around Greenland. Winds will be coming in from an easterly direction, so that could be quite cold actually with the position of the high pressure towards Greenland. We've got 6 with high pressure to our west, and so that's bringing in like a less cold or a milder flow from the Atlantic. And then finally we've got 4 with low pressure right over top of the country, combined with a mid-Atlantic ridge. So a lot of options there when we get through to day 14. We may start to see a trend towards dry conditions, but before then, it looks like we have got quite a cold and wet Easter to come. And then finally, the CFS V2. So these are 500 millibar high tsunami breaking down to week periods. The first week period takes from the 19th to 25th of March. Next week, we'll see high pressure to the south and low pressure big to the north, wind coming in from off the Atlantic a little bit like that. Week 2 will be the 26th of March to the 1st of April. Easter, of course, with low pressure right over and to the west, potentially very unsettled for Easter. And then into week 3, which is going to be the 2nd to the 8th of April, we have high pressure to our east, low pressure out to the west. Winds will be coming up from a southerly direction, so it should be relatively mild, you would have thought, with that. And then finally, week 4 is going to be the 9th to 15th of April with high pressure towards Greenland and Iceland. And that could be bringing the wind from more of an east or a northeasterly direction. So again, quite a bit of dry weather with that, but could be somewhat colder, especially so for the north. We shall see how it all works out. I think we've got a lot to focus on as we head up towards Easter, because I reckon we might be in for quite a wet and potentially quite cold Easter this year. So we shall see. Right, if you've enjoyed the video, please you like, share, subscribe. Thank you so much, everybody, for doing that. Don't forget to tell friends about GavsWeatherVids. And why don't drop a comment, let us know what you think about this and all of our business content. Thank you so much for doing that. I say around 50 subscribers will get us to 18.1k. So if you could give us a sub, that would be amazing. It would be incredible. And we will thank you so much for doing that. I'll just say what's happening on my channel tomorrow. We have a 6 AM UK weather forecast. We are going to have finally, I don't know if you're waiting for it, the evaluation for the winter 2023-24 forecast. So that's coming up tomorrow as well. And then there'll be a 10 to 14 day video. No live stream. Remember, we're backed off on live streams for the time being. Just live stream once a week now on a Sunday. So no Wednesday live stream. Tomorrow, the 10 to 14 day will just be as a regular video upload for the next few weeks. Right, you enjoy the rest of your Tuesday. And for this one, that's all now. And thanks for watching.